All right, on the back of the notes, we are comparing functions. So number 7, which function, f of x or g of x, has a greater maximum value? So whenever we're talking about a maximum or a minimum, we need to look at the vertex. And specifically, we're going to look at the y value of the vertex. So I'll show you what I mean by that. Here's our f of x function. Where's our maximum value? Well, here's our vertex, which is our max. We always measure the max or the min by the y value of the vertex because we look at where is the highest point on our graph. So what's the max here? My maximum is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the y value of that function. Well, now we need to find the vertex of this one so we can tell what the max is. So on this one, our vertex, remember for the vertex we take h comma k, but we have to take the opposite of the h. So I see a positive 6. For my vertex, I take negative 6. And then we take k exactly as we're given. So here's my vertex, negative 6, 4. What's my maximum value of my vertex? It's always the y value. So g of x has a max of 4. F of x has a max of 5. Which one has a greater maximum? 5, which is f of x. So that is how we answer these questions. Just figure out which one is correct. All right, number 8, which one has the least minimum value? So now we have minimums, we have a table, we have our graph. So here's our table. To find the minimum from the table, again, we need our vertex. So let's look at our table. We need to find the very middle value, the ones with numbers mirrored around it. So I see 3, 0, negative 3, negative 6, negative 3, 0. So where do I have mirroring numbers? I see negative 6, then I see negative 3, negative 3. I see 0, 0. So this is my vertex because we are having mirroring numbers around it. Okay? So my vertex is 0, negative 6. What's my minimum value here? The minimum value of my vertex is negative 6 because that is the y value, which means it's the min. All right, let's look at our graph. What's our minimum value here? We look at the vertex. Our minimum value is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So our minimum is negative 5 because that's the y value of our vertex. We want to know which one has the least minimum. So which one has the lowest number? Negative 6 or 5? It is negative 6. So that means that f of x has the least minimum. So for maxes and mins, you look at the vertex. Specifically, we look at the y value of the vertex. All right, next set of questions we're comparing the a value. So number 9, which function has a greater value for a? Remember, a is kind of like our slope, so let's find it on the table. We're looking for mirroring numbers. So I see 1, negative 1, 1, 3, 5, 7. Here is my vertex. That's negative 2, negative 1 because we're mirroring. We go negative 2 and then to 1 and then 3, 5, 7. Well, how do I find my a value from the table? I start at my vertex and I say, how am I getting to my next numbers? So how do I get from negative 1 to 1 and then 1 to 3, 3 to 5, 5 to 7? Well, from all of those I am adding 2. Adding 2, adding 2. So my a value is 2 for the function f of x. Now for the function g of x, what's my a value? Well, we need to calculate or find the slope here. So I start at my vertex and I look at my other nice points and I count the kind of slope. So I'm starting here and I'm going up 1, 2, 3 over 1. Up 1, 2, 3 over 1. So what's my a value of my graph? It's 3 because I'm going up 3 over 1, up 3 over 1. All right, we want which one has a greater value of a? F of x has 2, g of x has 3. Which one's greater? 3. So g of x has the greater a value. Next one, we want to know which one has the least value for a. So let's look at this graph. Start at our vertex, find some other nice points, and count the a value. On this one, I'm going up 1 and over 3. Up 1 and over 3. Up 1 and over 3. So my a value is up 1 and over 3, positive 1/3. g of x. This one, all we have to do is look at it and see what number is in front of those absolute values. That's my a. A is 2/3. We want to know which one has the least a value. So which one is smaller, the 1/3 or 2/3? Well, that is 1/3. So which function has the least a value? F of x, because it has the a value 1/3. Last of these questions, which function has a vertex located farthest to the right on the coordinate plane? All right, so let's look at this one. Here's where our vertex is on the coordinate plane. The vertex here, our vertex is -1, +1. Let's identify the vertex of g of x. What's our vertex here? Remember, we take the opposite of the inside, so that's -3, and then take exactly what we're given for the outside. So -3, -2. Which of these is going to be farthest to the right? If it helps, let's go ahead and graph this other vertex on the same coordinate plane. Here's where f of x is. G of x's vertex is at -1, 2, 3, -1, 2. So that is the vertex of g of x. Well, which of these 2 points is farthest to the right on the coordinate plane? That's going to be that one. That one's farthest right. So which of these functions has that vertex? That is f of x. Last one. Which function has a vertex located farthest to the left on the coordinate plane? This time we're actually not given a coordinate plane, so we'll just do our best. I'm going to draw one down here, and we'll just do our best to visualize it. Okay, we need our vertex of the table, so we're looking for mirroring numbers. I see -3, -1, 1, 3, 1, -1. So that is my vertex, because around 3 I've got mirroring 1s, and then -1, and then -3. So my vertex of f of x is 2, 3. Now we need our vertex of g of x. So we take the opposite of the h value, that's going to be +1. Then we take exactly what we're given for k, that is -2. So I have my vertex of f of x, my vertex of g of x. Which one will be farthest left? If we need to, we can just draw a little coordinate plane here and plot them roughly, and then see which one is farther to the left. So again, this is going to be a very rough sketch, but that's okay. Vertex of f of x is at 2, 3. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. That's f of x. The vertex of g of x is at 1, -2. So I'm going to go over 1, down 2. That's g of x. We want to know which one is farther to the left. So look at these. Which one's farther left? That's going to be g of x. So our answer is g of x. So I've got another few questions for you, and then you need to do the 7.4 homework that will be checked tomorrow in class.